Tell me if you have this problem. You take your sketchbook out, you're ready to draw, but the world is big and your book is tiny. You want to draw, but you don't know where to begin. And to make it worse, the last time you were in this position, you decided to pack up and not draw. Well, today we'll solve that for you. We're going to jump straight into how you can get perfect compositions while sketching on location. Stick with me and you'll never face that blank page paralysis again. By the end of this video, you'll have a foolproof method to create perfect compositions. Today I saw a cricket match during a walk through the park, and I had to capture it. It was full of energy and it was such a good time. But here's the challenge. How do I capture the essence of this vibrant scene without it becoming overly complicated? So here's my step-by-step process that I use to go from scene to sketchbook while including all of the right details. The first thing I do is to create a visual frame to focus my attention. This makes it easier to block out distractions. Since my sketchbook is square, my frame should also be square. A good composition includes a foreground, midground, and background. The foreground is the area closest to you, the background is the area furthest, and the midground ties them both together. This layering adds depth and context to your sketch. Once the scene is framed, it's time to decide which detail makes the cut. For the cricket match, the players and the pitch are the subject, and they're in the midground. The path on the hill frames them on the top, and the trees in the background add scale. Scale is not only important to show a difference in size, but it also illustrates depth and space. The foreground with the grass and the dandelions will be the final touch. Now that I know my subject, and I know what details I'd like to include, the challenge is now translating what I see with my eyes onto the page. To do that, I'll use dots to map out the boundaries of my scene to my sketchbook. Starting with the subject, I'll use dots for the cricket pitch. Then for the background, I'll use dots for the top of the tree line, and then one for the top of the hill. Finally, I'll dot off the foreground. That's it. Now I'm ready to sketch. Now that I know where everything's going to be, I can draw very quickly and it'll also be very accurate. With the dots, I know exactly where the top of the hill is, where the foreground is, where the cricket pitch is, where the trees are. I can just fill in the details at my own pace. This method also allows me to be a lot looser with my line. Since I know exactly where my line will begin and end, I get to add as much character as I'd like and make the lines very, very loose. The trees are a great example of that. I'm not copying them branch by branch, I'm just adding a little squiggle here, a little dash there to give the impression of them. For the players, I'm just drawing impressions. These aren't even anatomically correct. When it comes to urban sketching, it's more important to capture the energy than it is to be representational. The last thing I'll do for this sketch is to add a few dandelions to the foreground to frame off the cricket match. I'm making them a little bit larger than they appear in the actual scene, just to give the sketch a greater sense of depth. All of the depth, all of the distance, it really adds drama to your scene. And it's great for storytelling. Let's recap how you can effortlessly translate a scene to your sketchbook. First, visualize a frame around your subject and block out the distractions. Include a foreground, a midground, and a background for depth. Second, decide which details to include, focusing on storytelling elements such as scale and distance. Finally, use dots to map out the scene and fill in the details. If you want to get really good at this really quickly, you'll have to get good at doing thumbnails. Head over to futurecondos.ca/free to download my thumbnails template and then watch this video to see how to use it.